Fine. All right. Hey, Dora, to start us off, tell us a little bit about your journey in the IT or tech space. What kind of clients and industries do you work with?
Thank you, Joe, for this question. At Connex e-commerce, we work with companies that are very growth oriented. They typically like to grow very quickly. They're very much into innovation and serving their customers. They're always looking for new technologies. And we work with companies that are established. They're not startups, but they're already established and they want to grow.
And in your experience, Dora, what's been the most difficult aspects of keeping customers happy and engaged over the long term?
One thing that we need to keep in mind is that customers have their own journey and Connex is only one part of it. And it's really important to understand their needs and to provide them with the technology and the support that they need as they grow.
And what do you think are the biggest challenges and problems that lead to customer churn?
I think customer churn occurs when a customer either doesn't have a need anymore for your product because they've moved on to something else or they went out of business. The other reason that we can have customer churn is that if we are no longer serving the customers in the same way, if the customers don't feel heard or they don't feel like tech support really understand them, then they may start looking for another solution.
Yeah, it's important that customers are answered promptly. I was actually on the phone call with a couple of customers today who were just happy that I called. I found that customers they expect time to fix problems, but they just want to know that someone's trying and understands their issue. And so, Dora, how do you think the company culture plays into customer happiness or unhappiness?
Company culture really determines whether the company prioritizes the satisfaction of their customers. The company culture has to determine that the customers do come first because when the customers come first, then everything follows from that. For example, the knowledge base articles are going to be created in such a way that the customers can understand them easily. Videos are recorded in a way that customers can troubleshoot on their own. So the entire company culture needs to center around serving customers, and that's when they're going to recommend you and buy from you again and buy other products.
And so, Dora, what do you think about this big push towards chatbots and AI and automation? Do you think that AI really hurts customer experiences and tech support?
I don't think it hurts their experiences. I think that chatbot and AI have their place. There's some instances where they are really important. For example, if a customer wants to know information that's already in a knowledge base article, it's much faster for them to get that information through a chatbot. But there are other times when customers need information that cannot be found in a knowledge base article, such as an error that the developers need to know about. And in some cases, customers just need to feel that human connection, which a chatbot cannot provide.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you need to get on the phone and do some advanced troubleshooting, and a chatbot just can't simply help. I think a chatbot is good for run of the mill questions like what does it cost? Is there a free trial? But anything more advanced, you really need a person to get in there. I also think AI and chatbots are good as like a first responder. Like, well, while you're waiting, have you tried these steps? Kind of help people out. And so, what role do you think the human element still plays in customers keeping loyal? Do you think that chatbots are just going to take over all the tech support, Dora?
No, I don't think that chatbots are going to take over all the support. I
If
think
it's
that Yeah, no, I think that even if the information is the same, I think customers do want to know that there's another human being at the other end. I don't think that customers want to do business with a chatbot. They want to do business with another human being. And like I said, the chatbots have their place, but that human to human interaction is always going to be important for business.
Yeah, and instead of waiting for customers to run into problems, how has your business created self-service, like knowledge bases or a really good user interface to reduce the need for tech support? And what's really working well for you about kind of customer experience and tech support?
Well, yeah, what works really well with customer support is when we have knowledge-based articles that were written based on a customer need, because in that case, we've addressed the questions that customers have commonly, and we wrote the articles in a way that's easy for the customers to understand. So that's working already. And the other thing that's working really well is if the UI is set up in a way that's easy for customers to install the software on our own on their own. If they really don't need to interact with tech support to try out the software, if it's easy to understand, then that's going to lead to long-term customer satisfaction.
Yeah, I agree that if the software is easy to understand, it will lead to that satisfaction. The best tech support is a number you don't have to call.
Mhm.
So, in your opinion, what really builds real loyalty and growth with customers?
Well, there are several factors. Like I said before, if customers feel seen and heard, that's a really important element of customer loyalty. Also, if their questions are answered promptly, that's very important. If the service or product serves their needs, if this is what they really need. I also think that companies need to go the extra mile. It's not enough to just do the basic thing that customers signed up for. An example would be a phone call if a customer submits a ticket, or there could be a bonus, such as a bonus webinar, or something that a company can offer to a large number of customers without it being a strain on the company itself. Those are ways to go beyond and really lead to customer loyalty.
Yeah, I found with customer loyalty, if your software works and you're like the only solution on the market, customers will stay with you even if there are
Hmm.
bumps along the road.
Hmm.
Looking ahead, if you could wave a magic wand and fix one major issue with tech companies face with customer happiness, what would it be?
The magic wand would be to give companies the answer of what really makes their customers stick, both during the sale phase and in the churn phase. If companies know what to say or what to demonstrate during the sale, then they will be able to attract the customers that are the best fit. And then once they have those customers, they would be able to deliver the kind of service that really makes those customers loyal. In many cases, it's not even necessarily a big expense for the company to go the extra mile. Many times it's something very simple, either on the UI or it could be a holiday greeting, something small like that. So I hope that my magic wand would give companies the answer they need to get and retain customers.
Yeah, I think one major wand magic feature that companies can fix is transparency. Like if we did an update, the site's offline, we're working on it, we're aware of the issue, that we care. What's one underrated tactic or mindset that more tech companies should adopt when it comes to keeping their customers happy?
An important thing is to ensure that companies see their customers as human beings. Even small things like sending out holiday greetings, being very mindful of their customers when they write their newsletters. So it is really from one human being to another human being, and customers can tell if the newsletter was written by a human being or generated by AI. And it's really important that in the newsletters we speak to the customer emotions, to their fears. So that's one underrated element, is really understanding your customer on a human level, somebody who has emotions and fears.
Okay, yeah, that was a really good interview, Dora. Thanks a lot for your time.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure. Yeah, I believe Brooklyn is still here with us. Yeah, we can use elements of that.
I think maybe we should get the light because I feel like half of me is dark because the sun is on the right here. There's like the dark side of me and the light side of me.
Okay, okay, that sounds really good. So what are the next steps, Brooklyn?
If we also get a background to kind of use my Connex background on this, that'd be
Well,
something helpful.
that's what I don't know how to do. We could, okay, okay. Yeah, or there's a support button here. You could potentially email support. That sounds great. Do you want to hop back on Teams and show Joe the slides that you put together since yesterday? Okay. Okay, Joe, do you want to hop back on Teams and we'll look at
Yep,
the slides? Okay,
sounds good.
thank you. Bye.